Wait! Stop! Don't throw out that computer! Welcome back to Pushing Technology to the Limit. Today I have a great video for you. I've got a 15-year-old tower sitting on my table, and I am going to upgrade it. I'm going to put a brand new hard drive in it, and I've gotten some wrong information from these overpaid technicians that you cannot upgrade old computers. What a load of crap! Let me show you what you can do with this thing, and this whole entire video is going to be how you can get it to work. Now, this is going to be a little bit advanced for some users, so if you're just starting out, just bear with me, and I'll try to help you understand some of the things that are on this video. Let me show you that tower right now. So here's a Dell 2400, it's a Dimension, that I bought in 2004. It has a Pentium 4 processor. It's either 1 or 2 gigahertz, and it's quite slow. You can see that there's a floppy drive and 2 CD drives. The one is just basically a dummy to just cover up the hole. The top one is the one that works, and there is no floppy drive. It's still in there, but it's unplugged. So let me show you what this computer has in it versus the new ones. So right here is the internal wiring and components of this computer. It has IDE, and there's no SATA in it whatsoever, so it's really old. But it's a great machine, and it still works great. And the one thing about these hard drives that when they're older, like these IDEs, you had to have a knowledge to how to set these things up, because there's like little jumpers inside the hard drive that tell what part of the cable it's going to use, whether it's going to be the master or the slave, or it's going to be a cable select. So let me get to showing you out of all the other things that I've got to work on today. What I'm going to be doing today is putting a 2 terabyte hard drive in this old system. Now, what do you need to use to make this work? Well, let me show you this part that I have. So here's this board I got from Amazon, and it takes your IDE chain and puts it into SATA. So if I turn this thing around, you can see that this will actually plug right into a SATA hard drive, and not even just a hard drive, but even a SATA CD-ROM. So you can pretty much upgrade the whole entire system with these boards. They're probably about, well, I paid about $10 for it. And actually, it works really good. Now, let me show you some interesting things that you can do with this. I mean, as far as, I want to show you that it actually works. That I can install an operating system on this computer. Just to show you that I've got a Western Digital 2 terabyte hard drive. Now, I'm going to give you one piece of information about this drive. This is only a test drive because it's green. I do not like green, and I was only doing this for a test. If you want a good hard drive, you either go with black or blue, but stay away from these green things. They're about 54 RPMs, so that's slower than the 72 RPMs, and 7200 RPMs are the ones that are the standard, and they're fast hard drives. So let me get this thing installed. It's just going to sit on the table, but I just wanted to show you that I actually got this installed here. So let me get installing the operating system. Before I actually get installing this, I want to show you my motherboard. Now, many of you are going to wonder, why in the heck do I want to look at this? For one reason, it will tell me the hard drive status. And I want to show you that this hard drive is being detected. Now, like I said, this is the first time I've tried installing this on Windows on a 2 terabyte hard drive on this old machine. So I want to show you that it actually is being detected by the motherboard. Alright, so if you can see this, it says primary master, hard drive. And secondary is off. And then the second, let's see here. The secondary master, there we go, is the CD-ROM drive. Now if I hit enter, and I'll show you what's in it. So I don't want to change anything here. It just shows you that it's reading the hard drive. It says 2 terabytes, which it's translated in gigabytes. So that means that this hard drive is working fine. Now let me just get out of here, and the thing will start booting up the CD. Now, I'm going to be going fast through some of this, so you aren't going to have to see the whole installation process. So down here it's going through all its stuff to find the drives for it. Alright, so now it's ready. And we're going to start installing the operating system. And let's see here. Alright, you got accept the license. That's F8. So let's delete this partition, and we'll create one. So I'm not going to use the whole drive from my C. That's a no-no. I'm going to use 100. I'm going to use 100,000, which is 100 gigabytes from my C drive. Now it's going to format, and this is going to be the longest process of the whole thing. So let's see. Yes. Alright, so now this is the part that's going to take forever. And I'm just going to stop here, and then I'll come right back once this is all done. Once the Windows is actually up and installed. And I'll go through a few other processes before it actually gets into the Windows itself. Okay, now Windows is finally finishing the installation, and it's going to take another 39 minutes, and it'll be ready to turn on. So now here we need to just click next and do your name. Click next. And I've learned from my own mistakes that you just leave all this stuff by default, unless you really want an admin password, which I don't. I just keep clicking next. And sometimes I'll just go right to Eastern Standard Time because that's where my location is. Don't want that. And then click next. And now it's just going to go through the final process of getting it installed. Okay, so the next step that they want you to do is to use the networking, whether you want to customize it, use typical. I always just keep it as typical and just click next. Now the work group I leave by default. I set that up later when Windows is finally running. Now Windows is done loading or installing, and now it's loading into the computer so we can actually use Windows now. We still have to do some settings on the system before we actually can physically use it. So just click OK and it'll keep going. And here you are. We've got Windows up and running. Now the only thing that doesn't work on this system is the sound card, for the fact that you got to have drivers in it, and I didn't do that. And I'm just showing you this as a test machine, so I'm not going to literally keep this running. So it's saying that it's let's see here. Yeah, my screen size was, needed to be checked so that it would actually be the correct size that Windows needs. But then I can always go in here and make my adjustments to the actual screen size. So by default it's 640 by 480. Well, I can't do anything until I get my drivers installed, which I'm not going to do that. But this is actually interesting because somehow it installed my Ethernet card without any drivers. Now how did it do that? I have no idea. That's actually different to me because I've always had to install the network drivers to be able to get a card to work. So that's just interesting. So here's my C drive, and if I go into the control panel, I can actually make another hard drive. Let me do the classic view so I can find this stuff easier. So if you go into this this program right here and click on disk management, right here is the hard drive. So you can see I've got, actually, well, I thought I didn't do it quite right, but it doesn't matter. It says that there's 10 gigabytes of a hard drive space on C. But that's okay, but if I was going to use the system, I would want to have at least 100 gigabytes for the C drive. But that's just a mistake. It didn't really matter. I was just trying to show you quickly. So now, all you have to do is click this, right click it. Now what I do is I always use the extended partition. I don't know if you can read that or not, but that allows me to make numerous drives on one hard drive. If I didn't do that and I just used a standard, it would only allow me to create 4 drives. So now that turns green to be able to create more drives. So if you do it by default, which is what I did years ago, I can only make 4, but this way I can keep making logical drives. And so I can make so I got 250,000 megabits. All I gotta do is click, perform quick. So there, if you can see that I've got my drive E is now formatting, and it's 244 gigabytes. Which, if you want to have 250 gigabytes, then you're going to have to actually select, when you make your partition, you're going to have to make it at least 260 to get what you want. I don't know why they do that. I have always done that. But there you go, a running operating system on a 2 terabyte drive. And this is, like I said, an old 15-year-old machine, and it works great. And so if it had a sound card and all that jazz, you could get introduced and listen to music and things like that. So here in my computer is your 244 gigabyte hard drive. So that's how you make an old computer work again. So that's basically all you have to do to get a really old machine to work like brand new. Now, it's still going to be a little bit slow and old, But hey, if you're just fixing up an old machine and you just want to use it for like a server application, like a network storage system, this is a great machine to use for use for services on your network. Now the other machine I've got is even older than this machine, and I don't know if I could even get a hard drive for it, or even the parts to fix it. Well, I know I can get a hard drive for the fact of this board I just got, but as far as RAM's concerned, I have never opened it, and I'll have to see what's in it. I've got a lot of old parts to fix other machines with, and they're still good parts, except that the machine was broke somehow. I don't remember what happened, but something major died in it, and I just took out what was usable, so I've got tons of RAM. And we can see if we can actually get that other machine to work. Now, it works as is, but it needs a new operating system. And I do know that the hard drive is really, really small. Back then, I'm not really sure how much they had, but they might have had just 20 gigabytes worth of storage on those computers. Back then, they didn't do an awful lot. They don't do like what they do now with video and a lot of audio stuff. But we'll have to try that sometime, and I'll make a video on that just for interest. And we'll see if we can actually do it. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out some more of these videos. I'm going to be making some other ones in the near future. And just remember that there's nothing too old that you can't fix. Now, the only thing that you can't fix is if it's totally dead, where the machine doesn't actually come on, no video. That's the only things that you cannot fix, and that they're goners. But if the computer comes on and the screen lights up and says Dell or HP or Compact or what have you, you're pretty well all set to go. And I'll see you next time on Pushing Technology to the Limit. Goodbye for now.